Good afternoon and welcome to Wapak High School, where this afternoon WSN brings you the Division 6 District Semifinal Softball matchup. It's the St. Henry Redskins. It's the Lincolnview Lancers. My name is Mark Schein. My pleasure to do play-by-play alongside Mr. Dave Bowen. Dave, it is a district semifinal game. We've got St. Henry, we've got Lincolnview. Let's talk about St. Henry a little bit.
Yeah, Mark, as always, great to be your wingman. But this St. Henry club, 9-13 on the season, but don't let that overall record deceive you, because in the MAC, they tied for second in the league with a 5-2 record with Fort Recovery and Minster. Minster and Parkway just played here before this game. Minster comes away with the victory to advance to the district championship. But this St. Henry squad, they're going to come to the game tonight with an effort that is really going to be needed in the circle. In the circle, pitching for them will be Renee Wendell, and she's going to have to be very, very solid for St. Henry. Be selective with her pitches, paint the black, because Lincolnview, they can hit the softball.
Our starting lineups today are brought to you by Red Oak Realty. Let's look at St. Henry first of all. Start leading off and playing in center field will be Lauren Tiemann. Hitting second is the second baseman. That'll be Natalie Schwederman. At shortstop is Raya Busher. She hits third. The cleanup hitter is Kennedy Wendell. She is the catcher today. Hitting fifth is Brianna McCoy. She's at third base. Number 23, Leah Layfeld, then will be the first baseman. She hits sixth. Seventh is Olivia Gast, and she plays in left field today. Paige Felver will be the DH today. She will hit for Renee Wendell, the pitcher. And the final hitter will be Alexis Busher, and Alexis will be playing in right field. Lincolnview, Dave, they come in at 23-3, 7-0 in the NWC. Your analysis of what the Lancers will bring today.
Well, the Lincolnview Lancers, they have just had another outstanding season. Head coach Eric Schwab, in his fourth season, overall record of 91-23, has won the Northwest Conference 3 of the last 4 years, and Lincolnview has 5 NWC championships overall. But the highlight for this Lancer squad, 2 areas. They have 6 seniors. They all start. That's where they get their leadership from. But in the circle, it's a freshman, Isla Hughes, the Northwest Conference Player of the Year. Saw her pitch last year as an 8th grader, and I'm like, look out, NWC. Isla Hughes is going to make a name for herself, and she has done exactly that. But, boy, it's a complete team. They can hit it. They can pitch it. They can field it. They're going to come in here with that 23-3 overall record, 7-0 in the Northwest Conference. Number 1 seed. They want to continue their season, as does St. Henry. But, wow, that record and what they've done this year is very impressive.
Let's go through the Lincolnview Lancers Red Oak Realty starting lineup. They will start with their center fielder. Emerson Walker will be the leadoff hitter. Ashlyn Price will hit second. She plays in first base. Dave mentioned Isla Hughes a moment ago, the pitcher. She hits third. The cleanup hitter is Lainey Spear at shortstop. And then we move into Grace Brickner, who's the catcher today. Allie Miller will be the second baseman. Sylvia Longstretch will be in right field. Emma Bowersock will be in left. And the final hitter will be Cassidy Hammonds, and Cassidy will be at third base today. It's 23-3 Lincolnview. It's 9-13 St. Henry. It's for a chance to play Minster in a district championship game on Friday. We'll have this opening pitch right there, sure, coming up back with that in just a moment. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. Tonight's premier sponsor for the Lincolnview Lancers is First Federal Bank in Van Wert, your community and your bank. Mark Schein, Dave Bowen here. Lincolnview will be on defense first. Let's talk about the Red Oak starting defensive lineup for them. Grace Brickner is the catcher. Cassidy Hammonds will be at third. Lainey Spear is at shortstop. Allie Miller plays second base. Ashlyn Price will be at first. The outfield, left, center, right, is Emma Bowersock, Emerson Walker, and Sylvia Longstreth. And the pitcher is Isla Hughes, Dave, and I'm going to run through some numbers that are pretty impressive. Isla's 15-2 on the season. Her ERA is 1.19. In 106 innings, she's given up just 59 hits. She's walked only 17 batters, and she has struck out 167 batters in 106 innings.
Very, very impressive. Those strikeouts, that sets a single season record for Lincolnview pitchers, 167 Ks. Northwest Conference Player of the Year, as we mentioned, and she does it in the circle, but when she comes to the plate, she is a tremendous threat there as well.
And we should point out that she has an excellent backstop, too, in Grace Brickner. And when you are a pitcher of her caliber, you need somebody like that as your catcher.
Yes, Grace Brickner, one of those 6 seniors that we talked about as providing leadership for this Lancer squad. Second-team Northwest Conference selection, a really strong battery for the Lancers.
Our first inning sponsor today is Carey Insurance in Grover Hill, proudly investing in your youth programs and communities. And Lauren Tiemann will lead off for St. Henry. Lauren's a center fielder. The senior hits .342 on the season. She has 12 RBIs, and she has scored 13 runs in the leadoff position. Here she is to the plate. And the first pitch is a strike to Lauren Tiemann. Our umpires today, at home plate is Doug Billerman. At first is Lucas Minnick. And Brian Schoonover is at third today.
Hughes gets that first pitch at the bottom of the zone. If she gets that strike all night long, it'll be very challenging for these St. Henry hitters.
And if you say that was a bit of a tardy swing, you might see a lot of tardy swings against Isla Hughes because she can flat out bring it.
Yeah, and she's a freshman. You think she might have some jitters, but it doesn't appear that way here in the early going. That first pitch was right at 6:25 p.m., 55 degrees. A little bit of spitting rain during warm-ups, but it looks like it might actually clear out a little bit. We might get sun before this one's all over.
When we started this, the wind was at 15 miles per hour. It is blowing from the third base dugout to the right field area as it's 1-2. And now we'll go to 2-2 on the count to Lauren Tiemann. We saw a pair of home runs in the opening game, one for Mister and also one for Parkway. And those balls got out of here in a hurry with some wind backing them today.
A 9-4 victory for the Wildcats.
2-2 is the count. That ball's fouled away. Tiemann hanging in there. Natalie Schwederman is on deck, and Raya Busher will follow her to the plate.
Lauren Tiemann, as you said, hanging in there, doing exactly what you want your leadoff hitter to do. Get in there and battle, make that pitcher throw a lot of pitches.
Pitches in the dirt, and after going up 0-2, we'll go to a full count.
Exactly what Coach Alexis Ontrop wants to see. In her first season is Coach Ontrop, as we said, 9-13. St. Henry Redskins, 5-2 in the MAC. St. Henry has 2 Midwest Athletic Conference championships to their credit.
And we're going to get an opening walk. Isla Hughes, who has walked just 17 on the season, now has walked 18. And Natalie Schwederman will enter. Natalie gets 417. She's got 11 RBIs and 13 runs scored herself.
Second team MAC selection. Let's see if Coach Ontrop goes with the bunt here. Makes the defense defend.
That pitch got through Bowersock to the screen, and the pitch was called a strike, so we're going to call that a pass ball. And
yeah, Schwederman offered after at that pitch. I think she would have been better served to pull it back. Now you look to see if you can bunt her to third, have her on third with one out, but she pulls it back.
And good heads-up stolen base by Tiemann. Third baseman had pulled in, and she realized that and was able to steal third. So with nobody out, St. Henry has a runner on third in the presence of Lauren Tiemann.
Schwederman went with the old butcher block. Isn't that what you call it? Show bunt and then swing at it, and that created confusion on the Lancer defense.
Not much room behind the home plate here to the backstop in this field at Wapakoneta. And because of that, Tiemann was not able to score on that pitch. It's a turf field, Dave. In fact, we saw the athletic director, Brad Rex, take all of 5 minutes to prepare for this between games today. And that's going to be a called strike 3. First out.
Hughes puts it right on the outer third, paints the black, throws Schwederman, First strikeout of the game.
That brings Raya Busher to the plate. The left-hander hits .422 on the season. And she has 22 RBIs on the season. First pitch strike.
Hughes heating up a little bit here with the runner on third. Busher leads this team with a .422 batting average. First team Midwest Athletic Conference selection. Great volleyball player for the Redskins in the fall as well.
0-1's the count. Shows bunt. Pitch is called outside. We'll make it 1-1.
This would be a big run for St. Henry to plate one in the top of the first. Put a little heat on this Lancer team. They haven't played from behind very much at all with only the 3 losses.
Shows bunt again. And that was called a ball. 2-1. Kennedy Wendell's on deck, catcher.
Those 3 losses for the Lancers. Fairview, they lost that one 17-13. Leo, Indiana, 1-0. And Anthony Wayne, 2-0.
Hughes back to the plate. Offers it a bunt that time. In fact, she made contact with it. It's 2-2.
I'd like to have that one back. Just didn't quite get the bat head out in front of the plate. As you said, ticked it. Brickner still able to take care of it as far as from behind the plate. Big pitch, 2-2.
That pitch is called outside. We'll go full.
Little screwball action on that one as that ball faded outside. Screwball action from the right-hander Hughes.
Got him swinging. Second strikeout of the inning with Tiemann at third base.
That was best on best right there. Hughes as the pitcher, Busher the batter. Hughes wins that battle. Now she goes against Wendell.
Wendell hits .417 on the season. She has 31 RBIs and would like to get one right here. Pitch is down.
Wendell the leader on the team in that RBI category, as you said, with 31. Second team max selection, second on the team in batting average at .417.
Brianna McCoy is on deck. Pitch was also down. Good play by Brickner to keep it from going to the screen.
Good plate discipline by Wendell, not going at either one of those first 2 pitches that were low in the zone. Now see if Hughes brings it up a little bit. If Wendell can get the fat of the bat on it.
Fastball low and at the knees, called a strike. It's 2-1 with 2 outs.
Hughes just pounding the bottom of the strike zone, and when she misses, it's just a little below the knees. Good place to live as a pitcher.
That's exactly where that one was at, Dave. Outside corner at the knees. That's a tough pitch to hit, especially with the velocity that she can bring it. We're counts level now at 2.
Yeah, and if you didn't have that velocity with 2-2, you might say, okay, go up and in a little bit, but I'd stay right down there if I'm Hughes.
We go full count. Third time in 4 batters that Hughes has gone full.
Obviously, first base is open, but this is a big pitch here in the top of the first for the Redskins and the Lancers, respectively.
Foul ball. Almost got us.
Yeah. Didn't have faith in the chain link fence as I've waved on that one.
You know, in basketball, we like it when a ball bounces come near our broadcast position. Softball?
No, not so much.
Not so much, no. No. Full count. This will be the 7th pitch of this at bat.
Senior versus freshman.
And just outside, second walk of the inning.
Great plate discipline by Kennedy Wendell. They're going to bring in a runner for her.
Number 33,
Brianna McCoy will step in, and since Our runner at first base has chosen to keep her warm-up on. We don't have a number for her. See if our umpire can get it to us.
See if he shares it with the press box.
I think he said 12.
He sure did.
Okay.
We'll find that
I've
here.
got 12. You got 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is Samantha Miller, a junior.
Okay.
Let's see if they put her in motion just to see how Lincolnview looks to defend it.
The 355 hitting Brianna McCoy steps in. Pitch on the outside corner is a strike. Brianna has 14 RBIs on the season. Leah Layfeld is on deck.
McCoy bats 355, I believe, as you said, Mark. 10 doubles. Co-leader on the team in that category. Freshman versus freshman.
1-1's the count. Samantha Miller has shown no interest in running at first base. I think that runner at third is pretty important to him. 2 outs.
But Lincolnview may give up the base and not throw it.
Strike on the outside corner. She is living on the outside corner at the knees. 1-2's the count.
Yeah, there hasn't been a high pitch in the top of the first for Isla Hughes up to this point.
1-2. And got him looking. So a pair of walks and 3 strikeouts is the first inning for the St. Henry Redskins. We'll have no scores. We head to the bottom of the first. You're watching high school softball on WOSN. We're back at Wapakoneta. We're heading to the bottom of the first with Lincolnview coming to bat. We had 3 strikeouts in the opening inning. Our strikeout sponsor today is Loudix Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jeweler for over 70 years. Visit them at 1244 South Shannon Street in Van Wert or online at loudix.com. St. Henry will defend this way. Kennedy Wendell will be behind the plate. Brianna McCoy is at third. Raya Busher is at short. Natalie Schwederman will play second base. Leah Layfeld is at first. Olivia Gass will be in left. Lauren Tiemann in center. Alexis Busher will be in right on our Red Oak Realty defensive starting lineup. And Renee Wendell will be on the mound today. Renee is 5-11 on the season with a 6.20 ERA in 84 2/3 innings. She's given up 144 hits, 31 walks, and 38 strikeouts for her. And Emerson Walker, a .429 hitter on the season, steps in and takes the ball.
First team Northwest Conference selection is Walker. One of the most improved players on this squad, according to Coach Eric Schwab. Enjoyed the information he provided us with. Walker in the middle of the lineup at the beginning of the year and just kept doing some really good things offensively, pushed herself up to the leadoff position, leads the team with 6 triples.
And after throwing 3 pitches outside the zone, Wendell comes back with a strike to make it 3-1. 36 runs scored on the season for Walker. And that pitch also is a strike. Will make it full.
And those 36 runs just behind the 39 by Lainey Spear.
And she swings on a high pitch that was out of the zone, and we get a strikeout, a Loudix Jewelry strikeout.
Nice job by Renee Wendell right there, coming back and getting the K. Walker with that .429 average, she usually makes contact.
The left-handed hitter, Aisling Price, will step in, a .400 hitter on the season, and she will take a ball.
You're going to hear this a lot. Another first team Northwest Conference selection.
Well, they do have them this year, don't they?
They sure do. Second team all district.
And she swings through that pitch, makes it 1-1. Renee Wendell has 38 strikeouts on the season. Started this game off with 1. Hughes, the freshman pitcher, is on deck. 2-1.
Nice job by the catcher, Kennedy Wendell, to frame that one.
Foul ball. 2-2's the count. Hughes is on deck, followed by Lainey Spear.
Ashlyn Price, when she brings that bat through the strike zone, that white bat, it looks like a big piece of lumber right there. Fouled that one off. Nice long looping swing. Typically, you don't want to see that in softball. You want quick wrist coming through the zone, but With that 400 batting average, yeah, she's doing it the right way for her.
And 3 home runs on the season. And she strikes out. So back-to-back Loudix Jewelry strikeouts for Renee Wendell. And that will bring Isla Hughes to the plate. And Dave, we talked about some very impressive pitching statistics, but she's hitting .413 on the season with 11 home runs. And
I
also
think that's
has
513.
What did I say?
4.
Wow, 5. Yeah, foul ball. Appreciate that.
No problem. Just
513.
100 points. That's a little difference there.
38 RBIs on the season.
Yeah, she's leading this club in a lot of categories, and if she's not, the next batter, Lainey Spear, seems to be. 39 hits on the year, 6 doubles, 11 home runs, 38 RBIs, first or second in all of those categories.
Count goes to 1-1. Pitch will bounce up to the plate, 2-1.
But right now, Renee Wendell, she's trying to say whatever you can do, I can do maybe not better, but just as well. As Hughes struck out the side in the top of the first. Wendell trying to do the same thing.
Grounded up the middle. That's going to be a base hit. Gets past Natalie Schwieterman. And Hughes will get the first hit for either team today. And that will bring Lainey Spear to the plate. Lincolnview doesn't run a lot, Dave. They have just 32 stolen bases on the season, but their power numbers are outstanding. They have 36 home runs on the season. And here's somebody that's got 12 of them in presence of Lainey Spears.
The first team Northwest Conference junior.
Foul ball.
First team all-district. Leads this squad, as we said, in runs scored with 39. She is the overall leader with home runs with 12. Hughes right behind her with 11, has 42 RBIs. Tied with Hughes with 13 base on balls.
Sky towards the first base side and on top of the dugout. Makes it 0-2. That's just about the spot on the top of the dugout where Jacob O'Neill typically is.
Exactly.
He's down the third baseline today. 0-2 is the count.
Trying to make sure he's not in the line of fire.
That's hit towards Jacob.
It sure is.
And that's going to be back and made.
Yeah.
The wind brought that back,
Sure
and the third
did.
baseman, Brianna McCoy, is able to make a play on it. And after one, we have no score. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. Back at Wapak, Canada, tonight's scoreboard sponsors Wabash Mutual Telephone, proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. We're zip on the scoreboard right now. And our second inning today is brought to you by Carey Insurance in Grover Hill, proudly investing in our youth programs and in our communities. Leadoff hitter will be Leah Layfeld, and Leah takes a strike on the outside corner.
Again, Hughes just really bearing down and making use of the bottom part of the strike zone where if you make contact, it's going to be a ground ball. And then she's got an outstanding defense back there behind her.
1-1. Olivia Gast is on deck, followed by Paige Felver in inning number 2.
Leah Layfeld, a second-team MAC selection.
Pitch is just outside.
I know we're
2-1.
still in the early parts of this game, Mark, but I'm very impressed with the plate discipline overall by these St. Henry Redskins. Not chasing that pitch. It's got to look good in that batter's box, but it's just off the corner.
And here comes Coach Schwab to discuss something with our home plate umpire. And going to talk to his catcher a little bit, talk to Emma Bowersock. Or excuse me, Grace Brickner. The premier sponsor today for the Lincolnview Lancers is First Federal Bank in Van Wert, your community and your bank. And are we going to have a change?
Interesting.
It looks like Grace Brickner is going to leave the lineup, and with that, we're going to take a break. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. Multiple defensive changes here for Lincolnview. We'll try to get those to you in just a second. As the count goes to 2-2 on Leah Layfeld. And Dave and I are hurriedly erasing people's names and moving into new spots in the defensive order. 2-2's the count.
And that's my job, and I think I've got it.
Pitch is just outside. Well, give us what you got, Dave, and I'll see what I have.
So Quinlan Walker is coming in the game, and she is in right field. I don't have him yet.
Okay, and we're going to get a strike. Be a Loudix Jewelry strikeout as she swings through that pitch. Does Leah Layfeld. First out here of inning number 2, and Olivia Gast will step in. Ashlyn Price went to third.
Yep.
Laney Spear is catching. Sylvia Longstreth went to first, and Quinlan Walker went to right. And Walker replaced.
I'm not being your wingman here very well. But
strike to Gast, who hits .317 on the season. The catcher, Grace Brickner, left the lineup, and that's where Walker will bat in the lineup.
And Cassidy Hammonds went to shortstop. That's what I was trying to locate.
Okay.
I had everything else you had. That's what I did not have.
That pitch is also a strike to Gast, with Paige Felver on deck. So they moved everybody around.
Yeah,
pretty
Red
much.
Oak Realty defensively, again, Ashlyn Price at third, Cassidy Hammonds at short, Allie Miller still at second.
Pitch is outside.
Sylvia Longstreth at first, Laney Spears behind the plate, Emma Bowersock in left, Emerson Walker in center, and Cassidy Hammonds in, no, that is Quinlan Walker in right.
Yep.
Boom.
Ball's flied to right. And that player who just entered the game, Quinlan Walker, records a putout. The first putout that is not a strikeout today, and Paige Felver will enter.
And we don't want to speculate, but our speculation is that Grace Brickner a little bit under the weather.
And then she will hit second, will Quinlan Walker in next inning. And we have 2 outs. It's a strike to Paige Felver. Paige hits .261 on the season with 12 RBIs. She scored 19 runs. Pitches in the dirt, 1-1.
And Laney Spear going behind the plate, that's not foreign to her at all. She has been the catcher for the Lancers in the past.
Walker wears number 32. Or excuse me, Spear wears number 32 behind the plate.
Mm-hmm.
Pitches on the outside corner again. It's 1-2. Pair of outs in the inning. A strikeout of Leah Layfeld and a fly out by Olivia Gast.
You know, when it's in the strike zone, you're supposed to be able to hit it, but that is about as close to an unhittable strike as you'll see. Bottom, outer third with heat.
And a strikeout swinging. It's a Loudix Jewelry strikeout to end the inning. 5th of the game for Isla Hughes. We'll go to the bottom of number 2. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. We're back at Wapakoneta. It's 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the second. The young lady who just stepped into the game a moment ago, Quinlan Walker, will hit. .239 average on the season for Quinlan. Pitches inside from Renee Wendell. Two-0.
Quinlan's going to have to bring something a little bit more down the middle of the plate here. Doesn't want to walk. Walker.
Pitch is hit right off the plate, and an infield hit for Quinlan Walker.
Sure is. She hit that ball, as you said, it was a high bouncer in front of the plate. Unfortunately, Kennedy Wendell thought she was trying to find it, could not locate it. And Renee could not come in and field it and throw out Walker. Lancers have their leadoff batter on first base.
Allie Miller will step in. Allie shows bunt. Pitch is low. Allie hits .314 on the season. Walker at first base has a couple of stolen bases this season.
Allie Miller, a second-team Northwest Conference selection.
Playing second base today.
Yeah, she's the only one who didn't move in the infield when we had that change in the last half inning. She and Hughes stayed at home.
1-1's our count. That's a bunt out in front of the plate. That's a good one, and got him. Close play at first base. Second baseman Schwederman got over to first base in time to make the play, but the sacrifice is successful, as that will go 1-4. And Walker will move up to second base, and Sylvia Longstreth will enter, hitting .368 on the season.
Great execution both ways. Real nice bunt. Sacrifice puts Walker at second.
That pitch is lined into the left, and that's going to get past the left fielder. Here comes our first run to the plate in Walker, and we're going to get a double and an RBI for Sylvia Longstreth.
Sylvia Longstreth, she bats .368, provides a lot of punch at the bottom of the lineup, and we see it right there, an RBI double.
Here's Emma Bowersock to step in. Just one out in the inning. Emma hits just .183 on the season, but has driven in 9 runs. She takes a strike. Lancer is on the board first here in the bottom of the second. Swings to that pitch. It's 2-0, 0-2.
With Longstreth on second, Coach Schwab would love to play a little changing of places here with Bowersock.
That ball's fisted to the second baseman. The play is made by Schwederman. And that will bring the bottom of the order up. The 9th hitter, Cassidy Hammonds. Cassidy Hammonds hits .220 on the season with 8 RBIs. The runner, Longstreth, had to stay at second base. Cassidy Hammond hits that one up in the air. And here comes the right fielder in, Alexis Busher, and Alexis makes the play. And the Lancers put 1 on the board, and we'll go to the top of the third with the Lancers up 1-0. You're watching high school softball on WOSN. We're back at Wapakoneta. The third inning sponsor is Carey Insurance in Grover Hill, and proudly invest in our youth programs and our youth community. Hughes will go to the mound.
Lauren Tiemann leading things off, looking to do what she did in the top of the first, and that's get on base. It was via the walk in the top of the first. Right there, she tried to bunt for a base hit.
I think they were at the bottom here. I think this is Alexis Busher.
9, yes.
Alexis Busher will step in, a .182 hitter on the season. The 9th hitter in the order. Hughes gets a strike. Pitch is low. I think Lainey Spear, the new catcher, could just put her glove right there, and it's going to end in that same spot about 85% of the time.
Sets up a little more outside on this pitch.
She does. And that pitch is wide, right about where Lainey Spear wanted the ball to be thrown, but just a bit wide. It's 2-1. Busher hits .182 on the season, has scored 9 runs this year, for number 9 spot in the order. There's a strike, and Dave, there is Mr. Sun.
Yes.
Which we have not seen since Monday,
yeah, it's been a few
maybe,
days.
Or something like that. 2-2 is the count on the leadoff hitter. Tiemann's on deck, followed by Natalie Schwederman. Foul ball.
Yeah, you're usually thinking it's tournament time, so we're at the latter half of May. We're getting into warmer weather, more sun, less rain. That hasn't been the case this week. It's been cool temperatures, and they made a great decision when they moved the game that was supposed to be on Tuesday, this game to Thursday. Didn't even play with Wednesday night.
Our strikeouts today are brought to you by Loudix Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jeweler for over 70 years. Visit them at 744 South Shannon Street in Van Wert or online at loudix.com. And
that's number 6 for Hyla Hughes.
Yep, starts this inning out with a K. That one a swinging strikeout. We go back to the top of the order, one of the 2 batters that she has walked today in the presence of Lauren Tiemann.
Now we're at the top, and See if Tiemann can get on base with one out. But Hughes is starting to find a rhythm right now.
Natalie Schwederman on deck. Just a bit outside, 1-1.
It's almost like Isla Hughes challenges the umpire to call that a ball. It's right there. It's like Greg Maddox, just working off the plate a little bit more, a little bit more.
She throws harder than Greg Maddox.
But he got the strike 3-4 inches off the plate, too, back before the K zone.
Pitch is down, 2-1's the count.
But again, credit these St. Henry hitters. They haven't chased it when it's been off the plate at all thus far this evening.
Swinging strike, overmatched on that pitch.
Two, as you like to say, Lauren, you got the big one left here.
Ground up the middle. That's off a Hughes' glove. Picked up by the shortstop Hammonds and got him at first. That's going to be a 1-6-3 out. The second out of the inning, and we'll go to Natalie Schwederman.
Yeah, Hughes just deflected it a little bit. Nice job by the shortstop, Cassidy Hammonds, of charging that softball. Tiemann really getting down the line quickly.
2 outs for Schwederman. As she did the opening inning, shows bunt, and it's going to pull the bat back. Oh, she actually is going to bunt this one.
And I like the philosophy that Coach Ontrop's going with here a little bit. We tried to bunt with Busher in the 9 hole. Now let's try it up here in the 2 spot with Schwederman. Pressure offense, pressure defense. Make the defense make the play. You can't get an error on a strikeout.
Really nice pitch.
There it is again.
Yes, right on the outside corner, at the knees with great velocity. 0-2.
Spear sets up further outside.
And credit our umpire, Doug Billerman. He's not going to waver with that, is he?
No.
You got to hit that corner.
But as I mentioned, Hughes is trying to challenge him out there and say, hey, come on out here with me, Mr. Umpire. It's a good pitch.
And that one is on the corner. And for the second time in the game, Natalie Schwederman takes a third strike 3 called. And that's a Loudix Jewelry strikeout. And we will go to the bottom of the third. It's 1-0 Lancers watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. We're back at Wapakoneta. Tonight's scoreboard sponsor is Wabash Mutual Telephone, a proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. And our bottom of the third brought to you by Carey Insurance. Lincolnview will come to the plate with a 1-0 lead. And back to the top of the order will go Emerson Walker, Ashlyn Price, and Isla Hughes for Coach Schwab.
So we are at the top of the lineup for the Lancers.
Yes,
I missed it by 1 for St. Henry.
That ball's hit, and that's going to fall over the shortstop's head. And Emerson Walker with her .429 average starts the inning number 3 off with a single.
Just like the last inning for the Lancers, the leadoff hitter reaches first base. They brought her around the score in the person of Quinlan Walker. They'll look to do it with Emerson Walker this time.
Mentioned Emerson Walker as a team. The Lincolnview doesn't run a lot. That ball's hit up in the air, too, by Ashlyn Price. Camping underneath it is Lauren Tiemann, and we're going to get an out. Started to say that Lincolnview doesn't run a lot, but Emerson Walker has 8 stolen bases on the season, as Hughes will step in. Wendell's pitch is high. There's a steal attempt. Ball's going to be, got him at second base. It got a good throw from Kennedy Wendell on a 1-hop right to the bag and threw him out.
Good pop time by Kennedy Wendell. She caught that softball behind the plate, transferred very quickly, a 1-hopper down to Busher at short. She puts the tag on. 2 out, nobody on for the Lancers now.
And the count goes to 2-0. That opening pitch on the steal attempt was a ball. So Hughes is looking at a 2-0 count from Renee Wendell. That pitch is outside, make it 3-0.
Again, Kennedy Wendell, again, great transfer. That ball was not in her hands very long at all, and that's the key to throwing base runners out.
It's a 4-pitch walk. And that's the first walk of the game for Renee Wendell. Lady Spear will step back in.
You go from the frying pan to the fire with Hughes to Spear.
Ball's grounded foul.
The positive, though, is that there are 2 outs in the inning.
Spear hit a pop foul that we thought was going to go out of play, but the wind brought it back in, and the third baseman, McCoy, made a play on it. Foul territory for the final out of the first inning. Pitch is high. It's 1-1. Quinlan Walker's on deck. It's fouled up straight back. Makes it 1-2.
Renee Wendell at the top of the strike zone. We see Hughes pounding the bottom of the strike zone. Renee Wendell up at the top, gets that foul ball from Spear. 2 strikes on her now.
2-2.
Sometimes as a game goes on, when your pitcher starts coming up in the zone like that, it's because they're tired. But for Renee, it's been purposeful. She wants to be up there, try and get these Lancers to chase.
Took something off when that was lined down the line, and a diving catch by the left fielder, Olivia Gast, will get him out of the inning. Good play out there by Olivia. So a leadoff single ends up being stranded, and we'll go to the bottom or the top of the 4th. And we'll do so with Lincolnview on top of St. Henry, 1-0. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. Tonight's premier sponsor for the Lincolnview Lancers is First Federal Bank in Van Wert, your community and your bank. Our 4th inning sponsor today is Carey Insurance in Grover Hill, proudly investing in our youth programs and in our communities. And the left-handed hitting Raya Busher will step in to lead off. Raya struck out in inning number 1. One of 7 strikeouts today by Isla Hughes.
Busher with a really good cut right there. Good philosophy, as we've said all along, with Hughes in the circle. But this is big girl softball right here, these two going at it.
Pitch is down, 1-1. Davis, it's a few minutes after 7 o'clock. The sun's becoming an issue if you're on the right side of the field today defensively.
Yeah, we see Quinlan Walker out there in right field really shielding her eyes, trying to make sure she can pick up the softball.
Ball's fouled. It's going to go over the third base dugout and doesn't quite come back. Almost came back enough to make a play, but not enough that time.
It tried. It looked like it was going to be behind the dugout, and it comes out and just hits the very, very top front edge. With your leaping ability, you might have been able to grab that one. that 11-foot top of the dugout.
Ashland Price and Laney Spear were there to look at that, hit the top of the dugout. It's 1-2. And a called strike 3. That will be a Loud Exjewelry strikeout. Busher goes down for the 2nd time today, and that time she goes down looking. 8th strikeout today for Isla Hughes.
4 of which have been of the looking variety, which means 4 have been of the swinging variety, if I have my numbers right.
That's pretty good for the English major. That's good.
Yeah. I didn't even have to use my calculator.
Opening pitch strike to Kennedy Wendell. Kennedy walked in inning number 1. Brianna McCoy is on deck. But ball's hit up in the air, and that's way foul down the right field line. 0-2.
The contact has sounded really good off the bat, but again, St. Henry right now still searching for their first base hit of the game.
Wendell with a .417 average on the season. And that pitch came off their hand. It kind of slipped a bit, didn't it?
Exactly.
Tell that it didn't leave her hand in the typical fashion anyway. 1-2. Spear sets up on the outside corner again. And got him swinging. 9th strikeout. That also is a Loudix Jewelry strikeout. And in will be Brianna McCoy. She struck out looking in inning number 1.
Brianna, again, has had an outstanding season as a freshman.
First pitch strike.
Coach Ontrop said she's one of our most improved players, and she's adjusted from the junior high level to high school very, very well with those 10 doubles especially. Co-leader.
1-1. Leah Layfeld's on deck.
That's got to be hard to lay off of. When she comes with the changeup, it is slower in velocity, and it still is right on the outside edge. Good plate discipline again by McCoy.
It's a called strike as she tried to hold up, was unable to.
And that might be just the second pitch we've seen Hughes in the upper third of the strike zone. And I'd have a hard time laying off of that one every day and twice on Sunday.
Just outside. That was a tough pitch to take. But just outside, runs the count to 2-2. Isla Hughes back to the plate and got him swinging. It's a 1-2-3 inning, and they all go down via the K. To the bottom of the 4th we go. Lancers up 1-0. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Quinlan Walker, Allie Miller, and Sylvia Longstreth for the Lincolnview Lancers. Quinlan entered the game in the 2nd inning when the catcher Grace Brickner left.
5-6-7 for the Lancers.
Pitch Renee Wendell is high.
You know, Renee Wendell, she's been a battler for St. Henry in the circle. As we said at the top of the broadcast, 84 innings pitched, 5-11 record, not anything to write home about, but very competitive, a 6.20 ERA. But here she is in the top of the 4th, or bottom of the 4th, excuse me, against this number 1 seed Lincolnview Lancer squad, and she's given up 1 run.
And that's a 4-pitch walk, though, to open this inning, the 2nd walk in the game. And this one will go to Quinlan Walker. Scored the only run of the game. Allie Miller will step in. Allie had a good sacrifice bunt back in inning number 2. Helped get that run in scoring position.
Look to see if Lincolnview does the same thing, second verse.
That pitch is low, so 5 consecutive balls to start the inning.
Yeah. Renee's got to get locked in here a little bit. Lincolnview will take advantage of you if you start making some poor decisions.
Bunts that high pitch, Dave.
Yep, it is.
Got it down, but got it foul. So it's 1-1. The proper bat angle to get the ball down on the, I guess we call it turf here, don't we?
Yep.
But it goes foul on her, so we're leveled the count at 1-1.
Good pitch.
Absolutely good pitch. Got it on the inside part of the plate.
That was a breaker that came inside. Yeah, nice spinner there, a little screwball action. Gets ahead of the count, see if she can get the out here.
And that ball hit her. It did. That's the 11th hit batter on the season for Renee Wendell, and now puts runners on 1st and 2nd for Sylvia Longstreth. And Sylvia, with her .368 average, has a double today that has the only RBI of the game, and we're going to get a little meeting at the mound here.
And Renee's going to get serious. She's getting rid of her face mask, but must have been bothering her a little bit. But 2 on, nobody out. She's in the Kenny Loggins danger zone. Let's call a spade. Longstreth. I don't think she'll be bunting.
And
shows it.
She showed it, but the pitch was outside. Pulled the bat back. It's 1-0.
See if Coach Schwab elects to stay with small ball.
That pitch is also high, so all of a sudden, Renee Wendell struggled here in inning number 4 to find the strike zone. After 3 good innings, start the game. And it goes to 3-0.
Wendell wanted that one. Didn't get it. Now she's got to climb the ladder.
Emma Bowersock is on deck. That also is outside. That screwball action you talked about. Ball dove outside and the bases are loaded. And we're going to get a timeout as Alexis Ontrop went to the mound and have a discussion with her team. But certainly they're in a tough spot here with Emma Bowersock, the number 8 hitter, coming up.
They sure are. And Bowersock, as we said, her last at-bat bats 183, but with the bases loaded and nobody out, Coach Schwab has a lot of options. He can go with the bunt if he so desires. I think what we'll see him do right now is say, the pitcher's struggling out there. Let's make her throw a strike.
Our scoreboard sponsor today is Wabash Mutual Telephone, proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. And right now that scoreboard is 1-0 in favor of the Lincolnview Lancers, but it's in danger of changing rapidly here.
Coach Ontrop, Leah Layfeld is her backup pitcher as far as innings pitch at 28.2 this year, but she's going to stay with Renee Wendell right here. There's that strike. Now Bowersock. We'll see what they do. Again, I think they'll go with swinging of the bat. I don't think we'll see the bunt.
Swang through that pitch. 0-2 is the count. Cassidy Hammonds is on deck, and then we go back to the top of the order.
Right now it's imperative that Wendell makes Bowersock hit her pitch.
Pitch is high, 1-2.
Raises the eye level right there. If she could go down and away in the strike zone like we've seen Hughes do all night, I think she might get herself a K.
That ball's line, foul.
Good job by Bowersock. That's where Wendell went. Bowersock pushes it down in foul territory, makes contact, lives for another pitch right now.
Emma Bowersock popped up to the second baseman, Natalie Schwederman, in her only plate appearance today. 2-2 is our count.
Big pitch right here, Mark.
Did she go?
She did.
That she did. It's a swinging strike of Emma Bowersock, and that's a big out. It's the third strikeout of the game today, brought to you by Loudix Jewelry. And here comes Cassidy Hammonds. Ball's hit foul. Good job by Renee Wendell.
Yeah, she just
Coach
came
out
at her.
and talked to her, and she got settled down, got a K.
Got refocused. And another thing Renee Wendell does very well, she doesn't mess around out there in the circle. She gets a softball, and she brings it right to the plate very quickly.
Pitch is up. It's 1-1.
Good frame by Kennedy right there.
Hammonds flied out to the right fielder, Alexis Busher, to end inning number 2. That pitch dove inside. It's 2-1.
Infield playing in for St. Henry. They want to cut the runoff at the plate.
3-1.
No place for her. Renee Wendell's got to throw one down Broadway and let her defense do the work.
And pitches a strike up in his zone, called a strike and run it to a full count.
Lincolnview faithful, little vocal on that pitch.
It's full count. No place to put him.
Coach Schwab comes down the third base line.
Ball's fouled away. The next pitch will be the 7th pitch of this at-bat.
Good battle going on right here, Mark Wendell. She's just got to show intestinal fortitude, also known as guts.
And that pitch is high. Gonna walk in a run. Gwendolyn Walker will score from third. It's been a tough inning as far as that goes. But 3 walks and a hit batter in the inning.
And now you've got the meat grinder, top of the lineup for the Lancers.
That ball's fouled away by Emerson Walker.
As we said, 429 hitter, 6 triples on the season. The outfielder's guarding the lines, big gaps between center and left and center and right as a result.
Count goes to 1-1. Ashlyn Price is on deck.
Lincolnview looking to put a crooked number up.
Ball's hit to the shortstop, and the play is made by Busher.
Infield still drawn in. Busher, Johnny on the spot. 2 outs in the inning.
And Ashlyn Price will enter. Ashlyn is 400 on the year. She's got 27 RBIs. She's struck out today and flied out to the center fielder. Pitch runs outside.
This is a huge at-bat in this game.
And that ball's lined in the gap. 1 run scores. Here comes the second run. And we get a double and a 2 runs scored for Ashlyn Price.
Just waited on that pitch to come in and was on the outer third, just swung her hands through it, made great contact, found the gap between center and left. 2 RBI double for Price.
And that will still leave runners at second and third as Cassidy Hammonds moves up to third, and Ashlyn Price coasted into second base. Here's Hughes to hit now with 38 RBIs on the season. And Laney Spear on deck. So this is the difficult part of the order. They put 2 already on the Wabash Mutual telephone scoreboard. It's popped up.
Ryan Busher.
And Busher comes in to make the play on it. But the Lincolnview Lancers put 3 on the board here in inning number 4. They'll take a 4-0 lead to the 5th. Watching high school softball, WOSN. To the 5th inning we go. The 5th inning sponsor day is Carey Insurance in Grover Hill, proudly investing in our youth programs and our youth communities. And Lincolnview, thanks to a 3-run inning, will be up 4-0. And Leah Layfeld will lead off in inning number 5 for the St. Henry Redskins.
6, 7, 8 for the Redskins.
Ball 1. Leah struck out, 1 of 10 strikeouts today, brought to you by Loudix Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jeweler for over 70 years. Visit them at 1244 South Shannon Street in Van Wert or online at loudix.com. That ball's hit foul and almost got the on-deck hitter over there, Olivia Gast.
Layfeld late on that one, but she does make contact. 1-1's your count. And these St. Henry batters, they have battled in here tonight, even in the batter's box, even with those 10 Ks.
That ball also is hit foul, and Gass thinks she's in a shooting gallery right now.
And what I like about Leah Layfeld right here is she's just very calm in the batter's box. Not a whole lot of body movement. That's what we're starting to see as the game goes on from the St. Henry hitters. Some dancing in the batter's box. And she's just real solid, real confident. That dancing is a sign of, I think I know where she's going to throw it, and I don't, just a little indecision. Layfeld, very, very solid right now. See if she can make it pay off for her with this at-bat.
2-2. Hughes back to the plate. That ball's hit foul. And past our umpire down there, Lucas Minnick. So Layfeld hanging in there with a 2-2 count.
She sure is. I'd like to see her reward herself. Find a greener, break up this no-hitter that Hughes has going in the top of the 5th.
Ball's hit foul. Gloved over there by the first baseman Longstreth, but
yeah, this might be the best at-bat for a St. Henry batter since Tiemann as the first batter of the game. She went deep and worked Hughes for a walk.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming up here. And got him looking. There's that pitch on the outside corner that's been so difficult today, and that's strikeout number 11.
Number 11.
Yep.
6 of which have been looking. I'll tell you right now, I feel for Layfeld right there. I think that was a tough pitch to swing at. It was really, really at the corner of the zone, but that happens sometimes.
Here's Olivia Gast.
I don't think Isla Hughes was upset about that call at all. Comes back right with a solid strike in the same area to start this at-bat with Gast.
She flied out in inning number 2. Swings through that pitch. 0-2.
Gass takes her time getting back in the box. Don't want to overthink it, but you're right. 2 strikes you got to protect now. Just see that yellow sphere and make contact.
And unable to do so that time. Strikeout number 12. Brought to you today by Loudix Jewelry.
And that's 6 strikeouts in a row for Hughes. Think she's in a flow right now, a rhythm?
I got 7. Nope, 6, you're right. Yep. I think that would be correct. Outside pitch to Felver.
That one, I could hear that one hissing back here coming to the catcher. She put a little more Texas mustard on that one.
12 consecutive St. Henry batters have gone down. 1-1's the count. Alexis Busher on deck.
I think Isla Hughes is saying, okay, Paige Felver, if you want to try and throw off my focus by showing bunt, here it comes. See what you can do with it.
Swinging strike 2. It's 1-2. Hughes had struck out 167 batters in 106 innings coming into today. Good plate discipline as that pitch is low. Makes the count 2-2. That also was low, 3-2. She walked a pair of batters, did Isla Hughes, back in inning number 1. And that's been the sum total of base runners today for the St. Henry Redskins.
Otherwise, the bases have been lonely out there. There it is.
Third walk of the game for Isla Hughes.
Which, again, is somewhat uncharacteristic for her. 17 decisions on the season, 15-2, and only 17 walks.
17 walks in 106 innings coming into today.
And 3 today.
3 today. 2 in the opening inning. That breaks a string of balls bunted back. Hughes makes the play. Here's the second baseman. Allie Miller gets over there and makes the put out at first base. And we will go to the bottom of the 5th with the Lancers on top, 4-0. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. Tonight's scoreboard sponsor is Wabash Mutual Telephone, a proud supporter of Mercer County Athletics. Scoreboard shows the Lincolnview Lancers with 4, and St. Henry Redskins have been shut out so far. And we will go to the bottom of the 5th. And who's up there, Dave?
Laney Spear.
Laney Spear.
4-5-6 for the Lancers.
Swings to that pitch. I got to admit, I was confused. The scoreboard still said 15 was at bat. That was Alexis Bushard. I'm looking, whoa, that's not Alexis. That's the number 15 right there. And you're not pinch hitting for your cleanup hitter in the form of Lanny Spears. So it is 0-2. Fouled back.
Good changeup by Wendell right there. Good job by Spear to get a piece of it.
Allie Miller's on deck. And then Sylvia Longstreth.
0-2, Laney Spear not shortening up her swing at all right here, looking to attack. And that's something you can do when you've got a 4-run lead.
1-2. Lancers have 5 hits today. Plate their 4 runs. The ball's fouled away. It's on the asphalt runway behind us. This count stays at 1-2. What a great facility, right, Dave? I mean,
yes.
Is there a facility at Wapakoneta that is not first class?
There you go, exactly.
That's
we love
right.
coming down here, if it's the Redskins or if it's a tournament of some type.
Ball's hit to the third baseman, a throw across to the diamond. Good stretch made by Leah Layfeld as McCoy throws out the leadoff hitter. Talked with Brad Rex a little bit today. Really happy hiring his new girls basketball coach, former Greg Mock. And always, a great job running tournaments here. You know, they get them all if they want them because of facilities and location and so on. Pitches a ball to Allie Miller. Ball's fisted foul. Makes the count 1-1. Talked to some football coaches this week, Dave. There is a big movement to go back to 9 regular season games.
I had not heard
yes.
that.
Pitch is high.
Is this in response to 16 teams in
the
region? Or?
The whole process that would be dropped back to 12. Let me finish this pitch. Pitch is ball 3-1. And if you are one of the teams that does not make the top 12, you would have the option to schedule a 10th and 11th regular season game.
And 11th.
And 11th, yeah.
Interesting.
That ball's foul. Part of that comes from, I don't know whether complaint or is the correct term or not, but the teams that go deep in the playoff get multiple extra weeks of practice. And how do I get better if my team doesn't make the playoffs? And that pitch is inside. We get a walk to Allie Miller.
Actually, that's Quinlan Walker.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. And she's reached base every time since coming in the game in the second inning.
All right. Got ahead of myself, didn't I? So Walker has walked. That's the 5th walk. Is that correct?
It is.
5th walk.
Mm-hmm.
The ball's hit over the third baseman's head, but a nice running catch in the outfield by Olivia Gast, and almost got him at first in a double-up opportunity. Good job by Walker to hustle back to first base.
Great throw by Olivia Gast from left field to first base. Makes that play very, very close. Nice job.
There's Longstreth to step in. Yeah, that was a good play.
Walker gets back, being aggressive on the base pass. Well, that is an interesting thought with the football situation. You know, for years, we're in a 3 out of 4 teams in this district are from the MAC. And
here's a steal attempt, and the slide to second is safe.
Walker shows speed again, going from first to second via the stolen base.
Had a pretty good day when you consider she didn't start.
Exactly.
You know, she scored a pair of runs today, has a hit.
But it's been talked about for years, especially by Northwest Ohio basketball coaches, how Marion Local, with their football season, those guys, first of all, they're not playing hoops. Second of all, they're getting another half year of football practice every year.
Every year.
Let alone the football coaches in the area having that conversation.
2-2. That ball's hit, and a great leaping catch by Rhea Busher.
Nicely done.
Yeah, it was. A line drive out. A couple of balls that were hit pretty well, but no runs on the board for the Lancers. They will go to the 6th, though, up 4-0. You're watching high school softball on WOSN. We go to the 6th inning, sponsored by Carey Insurance in Grover Hill, proudly investing in our youth programs and our communities. I should mention before we get off that football topic, this is all conjecture.
Conjecture.
And, you know, thoughts, and we'll see what happens out of all that.
But as far as getting the extra practice time, that is not. That is true. That has happened for years for some quality football programs.
Here's Tiemann to step in, leadoff hitter. Then we'll go hitters 1, 2, and 3 in their order. As Hughes starts with a pitch that's low and out of the zone. Natalie Schwieterman hits second. Busher will be hitting third in this inning for St. Henry. And you got to figure, Dave, top of the order, you're down 4, you're in the 6th. This is a pretty key inning coming up here for the St. Henry Redskins. Ball's hit back to Hughes. And on a couple of hops, she makes the play to the first baseman, Longstreth.
First out of the inning. And again, Hughes has lived at the bottom of the zone in the outer third the whole game. And I know if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it'll be interesting to watch Isla Hughes during her career. If she starts moving the ball around in the strike zone, I think that could be a dangerous up and in strike when you're living down low and then you come up. Just make it really, really tough on the hitters as if it isn't already.
Yeah. Natalie Schwieterman starts off with a strike. Natalie has struck out looking a couple of times today. 2 of the 12 Loudix Jewelry strikeouts recorded by Hughes. That's also a strike. 0-2.
These 6 seniors out there for Lincolnview, as we said, Coach Schwab said they are the leaders of this team. They made a trip to the state tournament as freshmen. They want to get back there, haven't been since.
Foul ball.
St. Henry, as you said, this is the inning more than likely. They need to put a dent in the scoring column, try and put some pressure on the Lancers.
Oh, 0-2. And a strike out for the 3rd time today, this time a swinging strike. Brought to you by Loudix Jewelry. 13 of them. I keep looking over because you're usually having your yellow marker for strikeouts. And I've had to use my little red pen today. Here's Raya Busher.
It along the bottom. That's 12 with 6 looking.
Foul ball.
I'm just a miser. I didn't want to lose my pen with all these strikeouts. My marker.
Going to run out of ink today.
Exactly. But Hughes has had to earn them. I do like the plate discipline that St. Henry has brought to this contest.
Inside makes it 1-1.
And Raya Busher in the batter's box now. She's just been an outstanding student athlete for St. Henry her whole career. The senior has.
Strike on the outside corner, going away from the left-handed hitter.
Yeah, and that ball's tailing away as well. Busher didn't like that strike call, or nonverbals. Still very respectful out there, but you can tell she didn't think that was a strike.
1-2. And a strikeout swinging. That will end the 6th inning for the St. Henry Redskins. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-0 Lancers. You're watching high school tournament softball on WOSN. We're back at Wapakoneta. Our premier sponsor today is for the Lincolnview Lancers is First Federal Bank in Van Wert, your community, your bank. And we've had 14 strikeouts now by Isla Hughes. We've had 3 by Renee Wendell. Our strikeout sponsor today is Loudix Jewelry, your family-owned and operated jeweler for over 70 years. Visit them at 1244 South Shannon Street in Van Wert or online at loudix.com.
Owners Mike and Amanda Lickley.
Always great supporters of high school athletics in our area. Here's a bunt. Bunt's put down by Bowersock, and it got him at first base on a close play.
Bowersock just a little too much on that one. Almost a perfect bunt. Just too much back toward Wendell, but give Wendell credit as well. She came out of the circle. Great effort, great hustle. Turns and throws to get that out.
Cassidy Hammonds will step in. Cassidy is flied out today. To third it goes. Here's the throw across the diamond and able to beat it out on the infield hit. For Cassidy Hammonds, let's see what they put on the scoreboard. They did. I thought that would be a hit. Had to wait a moment. Official scorekeeper.
Agree wholeheartedly. She put that down the third baseline, and then she was moving quickly down the line. Good effort by Brianna McCoy. Just too much speed.
6th hit of the day for the Lancers as Emerson Walker steps in. She has one of those 6 hits today. Two 2-0. Ashlyn Price on deck. Swinging strike. 2-1.
Lincolnview has scored in 2 innings. They scored 1 in the 2nd, 3 in the 4th. Both innings, the leadoff hitter reached and scored in the form of Quinlan Walker. They get the first out here in the bottom of the 6th, does St. Henry, but right now with Hammonds on first in the top of the lineup.
That ball's hit the left field. And tracking it out is Olivia Gast. Well hit ball, but it's going to be an out. And here comes Ashlyn Price.
2 outs in the inning. St. Henry looking to leave that base runner stranded at first and try and get the bats going in the bottom of the 7th.
Might be fair to say, Dave, that her double last in the 4th inning was the big hit of the game, and she rips that one to right. There's a throw to third and hit the umpire.
Ball's live.
It is. So a hit for Ashlyn Price. That's her second of the day, and that will put her at second base as she was going to make the move as the ball was headed to third, and Hammonds ends up on third. And here's Hughes.
No error on the play.
Nope.
But runners in scoring position with the Hammers coming to the plate, and Hughes and Spear. First base open.
Hughes hits one up in the air.
Tailing away.
And gets away from Tiemann. Here comes one run. Second run scores. Hughes trying to get a triple out of it, and she does. That young lady can run.
Great piece of hitting there. Took that pitch and went with it. And then it tailed away from Tiemann out in center. Nothing she could do. Great effort. But a 2 RBI triple for Hughes pushes the lead to 6-0.
And with that, we're going to have some changes made by St. Henry and Alexis Ontrop. Back in a moment. You're watching high school softball on WOSN. Pitching change for St. Henry. Leah Layfeld will enter. She is on the season. She's pitched 28 2/3 innings on the season. She's got a 4-0 record on the season. 35 hits, 25 walks, and 24 strikeouts on the season. Her ERA is 5.37. So who moved to first base, Dave?
We have Brianna McCoy at first. We have a new player at third for St. Henry, but she has her jacket on again. We can't get a number.
The ball's hit to the shortstop. Busher, one pitch, one out. But it was a good inning for the Lancers. They put 2 more on the board, and they will go to the 7th, up 6-0. You're watching high school softball on WOSN. We're back for the 7th inning, and our 7th inning sponsor today is Carey Insurance in Grover Hill. Proudly investing in our youth programs and our communities. And we will go to the 7th with a 6-0 lead for the Lancers. And Kennedy Wendell, Brianna McCoy, and Leah Layfeld.
4-5-6 for St. Henry. Leah Layfeld did a great job. 1 pitch, 1 out, limited the damage in the top of the inning. Now they got to get things rolling, but Isla Hughes, she's thrown zeros the whole night. Looking to complete the no-hitter, no run scored for St. Henry and advance to the district championship game.
Well, they will play the Minster Wildcats. Good pitch, 1-1. Minster defeated Parkway today, 9-4.
Another pitch on the lower part of the strike zone, outer third. Just unhittable.
2-1. Dave, you and I'll be back next week. Baseball next week. We'll be down in Coldwater on Wednesday for a doubleheader, and then the championship game baseball-wise in that division, or district I should say, on Friday. So Coldwater for next week for you and I, and we'll switch to baseball.
Looking forward to it. You mentioned Brad Rex, who does a great job here where, well, Eric Goodwin gets it done at Coldwater as well. Outstanding athletic directors throughout Northwest Ohio, 2 of the best right there.
3-1. That ball's hit and played by the first baseman, Longstreth. A 3 unassisted out. And McCoy will step in. Brianna struck out twice today, 2 of the 14 Ks that Isla Hughes has thrown today. Once looking and once swinging. Brianna, 355 hitter on the season for the freshman. Outside, ball 1.
A good job right there again by McCoy. Not dancing around in the box, not leaning like I want to go fishing out there. Just was very, very confident. Needs to get a pitch she can do something with.
Ball's hit foul. Just thinking, Dave, between innings, we talked a lot about Grace Brickner and how good a backstop she was, a good catcher, but Lady Spears has done a really good job in relief of her today.
Yeah, and Spears has, like we said, has caught in the past, but Coach Schwab likes her out at shortstop, and with Brickner behind the plate and able to do things, helps out tremendously.
Hughes stabs that one, throws it over the long stretch. That's a 1-3 out, and we're down to Leah Layfeld, the last shot here for the St. Henry Redskins.
Wants to extend this game. Isla Hughes wants to put a no-hitter in the books.
Layfeld has struck out twice as well today. That pitch is low.
7 divisions. This D6 district looks like it's going to be Lincolnview going against Minster tomorrow. Strasburg Franklin, a perennial power, they're in Division 7 now. So whoever comes out of here is not going to see Strasburg Franklin at the state tournament, obviously assuming Strasburg Franklin would get there. But if they do, it's going to be in D7, not D6.
Count goes to 1-1.
So my money, I'll just say it, my money is on whoever wins this district is going to have a really, really great opportunity to bring home a gold trophy. And I know there's a lot of softballs to be pitched and hit and fielded before that point in time. But we have some really, really good softball in this area. And this district showcases the best.
1-2. And the 15th strikeout of the day by Isla Hughes ends this one. And that young lady just pitched a no-hitter, Dave.
No-hitter, and again, so impressed with her control. She placed the ball where she wanted it all night long. Bottom of the strike zone, outer third of the strike zone. Tried to get St. Henry to go fishing for pitches that were out of the strike zone, which you got to give the St. Henry hitters credit. They didn't go chase that very often. Hughes had to earn it. She did. Lincolnview advances.
And she was 3 base on balls away, 2 in the opening inning from a perfect game today. And obviously her defense played very well today as well because no errors. They played really well.
And then they had the big hit in the 4th inning by Ashlyn Price. It was a 1-0 game up to that point in time. Price gave Hughes some breathing room, and she cruised the rest of the way.
Lincolnview will end up the game with 6 runs on 8 hits. They had no errors. They left 7 on base, and today did the Lancers, and they will go to 24-3, and they will play Minster tomorrow evening, Friday evening, for a chance to move on to the regionals. St. Henry will end the season with a 9-14 record, but they were 5-2 in the MAC this year.
They definitely were, again, tied for second. Nothing to feel upset about in that regard at all, and they did. They battled here, but just too much Isla Hughes.
We want to thank our sponsors today, Red Oak Realty, Wabash Mutual Telephone, Loudex Jewelry, Carey Insurance, and the First Federal of Van Wert. We appreciate their support today, and we mentioned multiple times Brad Rex and his crew here at Wapak and how they put this tournament together. Megan Sherrick and Nick Fraley and Jacob O'Neill did all the camera and audio work here today for us, and Jacob will take this back to the station, edit it all together. Jacob, I did that, as you said, and mentioned your name, that you would be the editor today, Dave, just like he told us to do.
Exactly.
You know,
yep.
What was he?
The guy's a stickler.
Employee of the year or something like that among our crew. So we appreciate Jacob and all of his work today, and Megan and Nick as well. Lincolnview moves on to the district final today. 6-0 win over the St. Henry Redskins. You've been watching high school tournament softball on WOSN.